Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Omar Khateeb, and this is Facebook Growth Strategies for Healthcare. I've done this presentation a few times this year at some medical device and pharmaceutical conferences and been getting a lot of requests to do this presentation. And so I'm very happy to put it together and finally record it for you. So let's get right into it. But real quick, I know that you saw that my title, I'm a Director of Growth Marketing and Branding at Curated Medical, but just for the record, this is my disclaimer. The following slide deck is in no way, shape, or form at all related to my current employer or previous employers. These are all my own slides. So now that we have the disclaimer out of the way, let me give you a little bit of a history on myself, just that way you understand how I like to approach digital marketing strategies, especially in medical devices. So first, I was actually formerly a medical student. About 5 or 6 years ago, I was in medical school, and I decided to leave. And when I left, I went into surgical robotics. So I was with 2 surgical robotic companies from the time that they were private through their IPO. So I have an appreciation for the legal and regulatory growing pains that go along with that. And both of these companies I was with, they were the first robotic platforms in their industry. So I kind of have a love and passion for first to market disruptive medical devices. Now, in between there, I actually co-founded a fashion inventions company called PS Mister. And really, this was a test for me because I saw what the digital marketers and growth marketers were doing in the B2C world and the startup world. And I realized, man, I don't hold a candle to these boys and girls, so I need to find an outlet so I can practice. So I actually co-founded this company with a friend of mine. It was very successful, and it's to this day, it serves as a platform for me to test different ideas for marketing. Whatever works there, I end up bringing in-house to the company that I'm usually working for. And to kind of bring that up to speed to date, I'm very proud to say I'm the Director of Growth Marketing and Branding at Curated Medical. Curated Medical is a predictive health company focused mainly on the ICU. It's an amazing company. I recommend you following all of our social media pages, mainly because you'll get a great idea in terms of what to do for cutting edge tactics and strategies. Plus, we have a fantastic culture. So, quick agenda. I'm going to take you through the digital journey to health, more specifically how somebody makes a decision online to book an appointment and seek out a procedure. Because at the end of the day, selling capital equipment is great, but what really sustains any medical device business is the procedure growth. So we want people to be able to find the latest technology and innovation to help them. Second, I'm going to show you how to develop a persona profile, because when it comes to telling a story, an authentic one to people so that they get the right information, you want to understand who they are as people so that you can create information that is not only digestible for them, but it's something that they'll enjoy engaging with. Finally, I'm going to show you how to do a lead generation campaign, which is a fantastic way to really educate the market and also drive procedure growth. And lastly, I'm going to show you some algorithm tactics to deploy on Facebook. I know that the algorithm has changed. These tactics, at least from my perspective and from the data that I've collected and analysis I've done on my campaigns, they seem to work. Of course, not everything is foolproof, so always test these. If you find something different, please reach out to me. So first, let's start out with the digital journey to health. So before we get into that, I want to have you sort of ingrain this saying: be the expert on marketing to your customer's customer. And the reason why I say this is that when I originally did this slide deck, a lot of people asked me "Oh, Omar, can you show how to market to physicians and hospitals?" That's all great, but at the end of the day, we want to be able to help our customers, right? And what helps our customers is when they're able to market an authentic, genuine story to their customer, which is the patient. Right? These hospitals, they're not only expected to be very good at treating people, they also have to provide a unparalleled customer experience. They have to have high patient satisfaction scores. They need to educate the community. So they need help when it comes to marketing. So if you show that you're an expert at marketing to the customer's customer, or in this case, to the community and to the patients or potential patients, you provide tremendous value for the hospital physician, and more importantly, you help your sales team get in early to start advising and providing value. Now, a few years ago, Google did a study with Compete called the Digital Journey to Wellness, and they pretty much studied how do people make decisions online when it comes to their health. And here's what they found, and it really came down to three key areas. The first was that when people had a symptom or they had some pain or something, they went to the web and started searching, and they engaged with web content. Nothing surprising there. They had an offline activity of maybe talking to friends and family, right? But the second area was mobile and tablet devices. They found that people, throughout the day, they checked their phone and tablet devices about information. There's remarketing that was done there. So throughout the day, these serve as a constant companion. That's why your mobile website or your website has to be mobile optimized, and you should be figuring out how to use social media because this is the way people get and digest their information. And lastly, when someone's about to make a decision, online video, whether it's on tablet, mobile phone, or desktop computer, this is what fueled those conversions. And of course, this is why Facebook optimizes for video. That's why YouTube has really taken off in the last few years. So video not only of your physician or hospital talking about your device, but more importantly, getting patient testimonies, people who can share their genuine and honest experiences with your technology. Now, towards the end of this journey, of course, there's getting second opinions from physicians, and then maybe seeing a TV and radio ad. But these are things that you can't really control a whole lot. These three pillars right here in the middle, search and web content, mobile and tablet devices, and online video, is really what fueled those conversions to get people from inquiring about a symptom and pathology and to the point that they booked an appointment online. Now, here's the important thing we have to keep in mind is that when people start this journey, they start with a non-branded term. Now, I'm going to pick on the medical device industry just a little bit here. We're very bad about this, guys. And the reason why, at least I think, is that we have technology. Medical devices, we have cool, shiny things that we love to talk about. But when somebody has back pain, they don't go online and start searching for, let's say, robotic spine surgery because they don't even know about that. What they know is what's happening directly to them. They have a problem and they're trying to give that problem a name. And then finally, when they get to solution, that's when your device or drug or whatever it is that you're marketing fits into that worldview. So as you can see here from this graph, disease and symptoms took up a majority of the pie. Now, when they ended their search path, they ended on a branded term. Okay, so if I started having, let's say, back pain down my leg, I start looking online, I engage with content that educates with me about that, then finally I start to name my problem. I've given my problem a name, and once your problem has a name, then you can start looking for a solution. So I have let's say a slip disc, or let's say I need a fusion. I'm going to start looking for spine surgery. Now I'm educated enough to say, I want robotic spine surgery. Now, going back to this for a moment here, when it comes to non-branded terms, a lot of medical device marketers, they ask me like, well, what content do I create around this? Well, there's an industry that's very good at this because they don't have a shiny, device to talk about. It's the pharma industry. Pharma does a fantastic job of providing unbranded patient content in the form of disease education, information on doctors. They do a great job of that. So if you don't know what to do, think about the pathologies that you're trying to educate your community and market on. Look up the pharmaceutical company that deals with those diseases and pathologies and just use that content and recreate it. Now, the reason why I took you through this part is that you need to understand how human psychology works. And this is something that I learned in medical school and I'd like to share with you. When it comes to the human mind, you can think of it like an iceberg. There's things that you can see above the surface and then things you can see below the surface. So above the surface, you have the conscious mind, right? But it only makes up a small bit of the iceberg. The bigger part of that iceberg is the subconscious mind. And in the human mind, that subconscious mind is really what's driving things. Now, the conscious mind is what a lot of marketers aim at. And that's where you live in features and benefits land. This is where you end up with, comparing price. You end up in a race to the bottom. And the problem with that is nobody wins. Somebody will eventually win, but that's not what you want. Now, what you want to focus on is things that have to do with the subconscious mind. And those things, you can think of it as the 4 F's. feeding, fighting, fleeing, and fornication. Every single decision that you have made in your life in one way, shape, or form has mapped back to one of these four things. Now again, knowing this doesn't mean that you use it in a manipulative way, but use it to create genuine and authentic marketing that people will be happy to engage with. The question I often get is Omar, well, how do you know the difference between manipulative marketing and unmanipulative marketing? This is the best way I can define it. Number one, would I buy what you are selling if I knew what you knew? That's number one. The second thing is, after I bought what you just sold me, would I feel bad about it later? So if you can answer no to both of those questions, so that if I knew what you knew, would I not buy? The answer is no there. And if I would not feel worse off after buying your products, if the answer is no there, then you're not doing anything that's manipulative. So when I looked at this a few years ago, I said, well, how do I influence this entire path? Because, once people get here, I'm starting to pay out the nose for Google AdWords on like general terms like back pain and whatever it was I'd be marketing back at the time. And that's where Facebook and Instagram ads really became a powerful thing, because by seeding the market here, which the cost is much lower, I can educate them on the type of vernacular and wording that they should look for. So instead of, say, targeting 20 different keywords here, I can nurture and educate the market on 5 terms here that are niche that I can just put all my money on and own here, and this will influence this entire path. So you want to start in Facebook and Instagram more or less with unbranded content, and you want to end and convert with branded content. So let's see what that looks like. So next step, designing a persona profile. This is one of my favorite things to do, because it forces us as marketers to really understand the point of view of the person. I recommend to all marketers to go and spend time in the hospital, understand what it's like to be a patient in that department. Try to understand the pain points, right? At the very least, talk to somebody who may have had that kind of disease or illness. There might be somebody in your family like this. So Facebook Audience Insights is going to be your new favorite tool. Now, all you have to do, first, you have to have a Facebook profile. And second, you just Google Facebook Audience Insights and you'll go straight to the page. Okay. Now, this is a database for Facebook where they use all the data on Facebook, which, by the way, for any of those who want to say that their stakeholder is not on Facebook, it's 2.5 or 2.3 billion people as of a couple of weeks ago. It's a lot of people. To give you an idea, that's a little over a third of the world's population. That's a lot of data. Plus, Facebook buys out data from third parties, and so you have a very powerful data set that's free and not a lot of people are using, at least not in our industry. Now, for the persona profile, I decided to use a persona from a previous company. So we're going to focus on men with hair loss. And we have a medical device and, let's just say, a pharmaceutical treatment that goes along with it for men with hair loss. Okay? So the persona profile that we're going to end up focusing on is men above the age of 25 who live in Pennsylvania and who have hair loss. So we plug this into Facebook Audience Insights, and we focus only on behavioral interests dealing with hair loss. So hair loss will be one of those things. Alopecia will be another. We focus only on Pennsylvania and men above the age of 25. And here's what we find. First, we have this demographic spread here, which is all men. Okay? The gray boxes here represent most people online, or the rest of the people online. The blue is who's on Facebook, and these percentages give you an idea on where to focus. So the largest ideal market here is between 45 and 54. So that's where you want to focus. The mistake a lot of marketers will make is say, let's just, take the data sets for all of these. It's too big of a sample size. You can definitely do that to test, but if you want to be very targeted and focused, start by selecting this age range. Okay, so you're going to focus on 45 to 54-year-old men. Second, when we start to really hammer down there, we see that the key persona is married with a high school education, as you can see from here. So relationship status, majority of them are married, and most of them have a high school education. This just gives you an idea on the type of content you can create, and again, the persona that you're trying to market to. And lastly is that the most common employer is the government, okay? Now, here are the top locations where those people are located. There's those potential prospects, people who have hair loss. It doesn't mean that they qualify for the procedure. That just means that these are the people who are looking for information. Now, this is a very powerful slide because this is a great tool for your sales team. And let me show you why. Many of you have clinical reps, and clinical reps, there's one thing that they have trouble with is setting up patient seminars, right? Because the problem is that if you're going to get your physician to do a patient seminar, right, you want to make sure it's a packed house. And a lot of times this is a tough thing to do. So in Pennsylvania, a lot of sales reps will say, you know what, let's do Philadelphia because that's one of the biggest cities. That's where we should do our patient seminar. 25% of them, of our target market is here. But if you look at all these smaller markets, these are all areas that are not focused on. These are areas where your competitors are probably not holding patient seminars, and you can start owning the market one by one by one. And by the way, all this percentage right here actually adds up to 28%. So there's a larger market share here than here, right? More importantly, this can begin to engulf the larger demographic population here because people who are here, they might live here, they might work in Philadelphia, but this is a great tactic. And someone who actually did a very good job of using this strategy was Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart. Rather than focusing on large metropolitan areas first, he went to the rural areas, which were much easier to win the market over in. And one by one, he won those smaller markets and then eventually engulfed the larger markets. So powerful slide here when it comes to working with your sales reps. Now, you can also see the top categories of the patient. So a patient who lives in Pennsylvania, again, based on our behavioral interests, these are the categories they're into. So you have some idea based on, the kind of content they're into. You can even find, for example, you have a brewery here, so maybe you hold an educational event at this brewery, right? If you're going to advertise on TV, let's say the ads are undervalued. Again, TV ads are really expensive, but let's just say you got lucky that TV ads are undervalued. Well, run them during this, this show right here. This is how you start thinking as a digital marketer. You use data to drive your insights and behaviors and decisions rather than just purely off intuition. And more importantly, when you go to the board for money, this helps because this shows that you know what you're talking about. Now, lastly, there's a lot of data that comes in the audience insights page, but this last piece I wanted to show you, which was interesting. The key to being a great digital marketer, at least in my estimation, is you have to be good at asking questions. I always feel that the value of your life, to get a little deep here, but also your marketing is always reflected in the quality of questions you ask yourself. So we see here in device usage that, not surprisingly, the majority of these people, they use mobile. But what I thought was interesting was that 79% is a huge skew from standard deviation. They use Android phones. The question isn't, well, that just doesn't make sense. When something, you see, the thing is, when something doesn't make sense, you have 5 or 10 different models in your head as to why it doesn't make sense. But the world always makes sense, okay? You just have to ask the right questions. So I went on Google and started, Googling things, and then I remembered, wait a minute, our prospective persona here works for the government, and guess what? Every government employee gets an Android phone. So that doesn't mean that you should right away just target Android phones with your ads. But if you have a one shot to prove something to the board and you want to make sure that your ad spend goes to the right place, while your competitors are spending money targeting iPhones and tablets, Androids, you can put it all towards Android and you just get a much better relevancy score on Facebook, which is a great indicator to the quality of ad that you have. Your ad gets shown to more people, you capture more leads, and it works. So now let's get to creating a lead generation ad. So on Facebook, you have essentially a workflow here where you start off with awareness, you move to consideration, and you end up with conversion. And there's different things that you want to do here. We want to focus on lead generation, okay? And this is, again, on the Facebook advertising platform. If you don't know what this is, I highly recommend that you spend some time this week learning about it. There's plenty of videos on it. No reason why you shouldn't. So one thing I want to sort of bring to attention, this is a study from Nielsen, is that when we're selecting our ads, we want to select the right objective. Clicks are not the best way to measure how successful your ad is. As you can see here, these are based on clicks. When it comes to ad recall, lots of clicks here, but as the click-through rate goes up, your ad recall goes down. Same thing here with brand awareness. Click-through rate is a little bit low, but then as you start going over here to the right, it starts to go down. Purchase intent, click-through rate, very low, good purchase intent, but as you start moving here, it goes down. So again, you have to keep in mind what you're asking for. And the reason why I mentioned that is that based on the objective you choose and the way you score it on Facebook, Facebook is going to give you what you pay for. So if you choose that you want to get paid through clicks, Facebook will find people who click ads all day long. Now, it's something that you just have to keep in mind, take with a grain of salt. Now, here's the ad that we decided to make. So let's talk about what's in this ad and what makes it a good ad. First of all, we're using a video. Okay, videos on Facebook are going to be optimized. You can use images, that's fine, but videos are better. Second, we use a testimonial from a patient in Pennsylvania. Okay, stopping hair loss was also the start of my new life. I wish I didn't wait this long. Great testimonial. This is where you can maybe pull testimonials from your Facebook page, from physicians, and pick ones where it talks about, taking action, right? And of course, due to HIPAA compliance, don't use the name of the patient. Use a different name or a fake name. Now, down here, here's some interesting things we use in copy. We capitalize word free. And again, this is going back to subconscious motivators. Subconscious motivators, remember, feeding, fighting, fleeing, fornication, they have to do with survival. When we see things that are free, it's a survival mechanism. It makes it more valuable. We focus, again, on a non-branded term. We're not talking about free, book on Three Peaks Pharma solution to hair loss. No. No one cares about it. No one knows what Three Peaks Pharma is. We want to focus on the pathology or the thing that people want to learn about. Help people educate themselves about the problem that they have. And lastly, we want to add a scarcity principle by saying limited time only. This will get people to take the action, which is to learn more, right? But more importantly, don't be inauthentic and put limited time only and run this ad, for months on end. Run it for, in fact, a limited time, okay? Now, once they click the ad, they go to a lead generation page. Now, why does lead gen on Facebook work so well? Here's the thing. You can ask for up to 8 or 9 different fields. Let's say, now this is what I used to ask for online. Name, first name, last name, email, phone number, city, state, zip code, 7 fields. Most marketers would have said I was insane to ask for that many, but I was able to get them because it auto-populates. So the information auto-populates, you click submit, and once you click submit, you have this button that says watch now. And as a marketer, you can put a link to your website here. Don't put a link to your website. The goal is to educate the patient, right? So don't waste energy to send them off Facebook to another website that may take too long to load. Send them instead to a patient educational video. So they downloaded a PDF, but now they also have the option to get a patient educational video. Where is that video coming from? You post it from your Facebook page, because by putting a link that puts a loop in and loops the patient or the prospective patient to a page on your Facebook where they can watch this patient educational video, you're now feeding traffic to your video here on this Facebook page, okay? And obviously you're boosting the relevancy and the value of this video, which you can use as a boost post later on. And you can see here, in a short amount of time, we were able to generate some emojis, likes, and people shared this video, right? And more importantly, you're helping this person educate themselves about things that they may spend time asking the doctor or nurse. So now you've helped decrease the amount of time that this person is going to spend either on the phone or in the exam room with the doctor and nurse. So when you decrease the amount of time on, common questions and answers, you've increased the value in the time that person can spend with the doctor and nurse asking questions that are more important. Okay, you've done that person, the prospective patient, a good deed by helping educate them ahead of time. You help the doctor and nurse save time on the phone and in person, so that way they can deliver the best value possible and help the patient make the best decision they can. Now, lastly, I want to end with deploying algorithm tactics. Okay, so again, Facebook had a change in their algorithm this year. It's become more difficult to advertise on Facebook, but I'm going to teach you a few tricks that seem to have worked well for me, and they keep working. So first thing I want you to sort of digest is marketing to an AI or artificial intelligence is an obstacle to storytelling to human beings. The reason why I say that is that before you can start telling a story to the human being here, you have to be good at marketing to an artificial intelligence platform, which means you have to think, what does the algorithm on Facebook, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, or anything, what does the algorithm want, right? Now, for any platform, even if it's not Facebook, what the algorithm wants is engagements. It wants to see that it's providing value. People are spending time. Now, many of you have, will notice these are emojis, and I say emojis for scale because these will scale your ad. Now, when you see a Facebook ad or post, you can like it. Liking it is very easy. Just like that, I can click, very simple, and I get a like. Very passive, easy to do that. But if I see an ad and then I hold this like down, these start popping up. So I take two cognitive steps here. First, if I want to leave an emotion on a post, I hold this down. That's one cognitive step. All these emojis come up. Now I take a second cognitive step if I was the person seeing this ad, and I have to decide which emotion am I feeling. And I might choose happy or surprised or heart. Now, that's why these are weighed more. So if you want to say that, on a Facebook ad, you get 1 point for this, you'll get 3 points every time someone uses one of these. And these are all weighed the same. You can't, the angry one isn't, worth less than, let's say, a happy one. They're all weighed the same. And this is how Facebook gauges how relevant an ad is and if people are engaging with it. Now, once you launch your ad, the first thing you should do is try and catch it. And you can actually find the link for it in your ad. Send it to your marketing team, find it yourself, try and remarket to yourself, and go and love the ad yourself. Add some emojis on there because people tend to do what other people are doing. That's social proof and liking. So if people see people hearting and engaging with this ad, they'll likely do that. Once they start doing that, you click this button and immediately you'll get a list of all the people who have liked the ad. Why is that important? Because you can go over here and start inviting each one of those people to like your ad. The moment that at least one or two of them even go and like your Facebook page, your ad will get more reach. And by the way, I made a mistake earlier. I apologize. What I meant to say was that when you click this, you can start inviting these people who have liked your ad to like your page. If Facebook's AI sees that this ad is not only generating engagement, but getting people to like the page as a result of it, they say that this is a relevant ad. Your relevancy score goes up. For those of you who don't know, relevancy score is how people or how Facebook sees if an ad is relevant to their audience. It's scaled from 1 to 10. If you have a relevancy score under 3, you're doing something very wrong. Stop the ad and figure what you did wrong. It could be that your copy is off. It could be that you're targeting way too many people, or you're choosing a huge demographic. Okay. The second thing you want to do is remember that video that we're sending all that traffic to. You want to do the same thing there. Click the button to see who have liked and hearted it, and start engaging and inviting all these people as well. And finally, educate your employees to take part, because some of them will actually see your Facebook ad, or maybe you can share the link and ask them to click the comment button, leave an emoji or a reaction, and ask some questions. Now, these are examples of employees who actually had a procedure done. So for example, I think this was somebody who was actually interested. This was an employee who had this procedure done. The idea is, number one, again, be authentic. Don't have employees commenting on the procedure if they never got it done. But if they did have it done, have them leave a comment if they like. A better thing is ask somebody to leave a comment and ask about, let's say, information on the procedure. in which case you can go in as the company page and reply to that comment and leave a link to a video, which is your Facebook video. So this video back here that you used to drive people to, you can use the same link and answer questions in the comment section, and that way start engaging people for engagement. And once people see others doing this, they tend to start answering and leaving more questions for you. Now, really, quick to wrap up, the main things you want to focus on: active interactions. Again, active interactions are on this area right here: commenting, sharing, reacting. Passive or neutral, clicking, watching, viewing, and hovering. These are things that can be done by accident, or just again, done purely out of an impulse. So you want to focus on active or positive engagement. Now, finally, to answer the question, because I keep getting people asking this, what about physicians and nurses and other stakeholders? Well, here's how you can use Facebook to reach those people as well. You can have who you engage with on Facebook and Instagram, and then you can have, let's say, your email list from LinkedIn or people who visit your website. From there, you can create a Facebook custom audience. So you take your email list here, you upload it to Facebook, and have them search for those emails, and then you can create a custom audience. So that way you can reach those stakeholders if it's in fact the email that they use to sign up with Facebook. Or you can even create a lookalike audience where, let's say you have a list of 100 cardiothoracic surgeons, you matched all, let's say 80 of them on Facebook in your custom audience. You can create a lookalike audience to say, please make an audience list that is similar to this one, so you can reach more cardiothoracic surgeons. So again, this is our digital journey, online, and we want to influence it using Facebook and Instagram ads. Again, once you do this, you start educating the market on specific terminology, educating them about your brand. That way, when they get on the web, if they don't come through your ad here, once they're on the web and they search, you've educated them with the correct language, the keywords that'll influence this entire path. So 3 key takeaways I want you to get from this. Number 1, use Facebook Insights for persona profiles. Even if it's not for a Facebook ad, use it to educate yourself as to who you're trying to market to and what actually interests them. That's the whole idea of creating great marketing, great content, is that who you're speaking to. Number 2, engage, entertain, and educate. That's the only way you get to win on these platforms. And lastly, fuel your conversions online with video. It's incredibly important. Now, we've come to the end of the presentation. I want to leave you with one thought, and I'm very, I don't like to really quote myself, but I'm very proud to say that this is actually something that I thought of, and it's something I really live by, which is to think like a scientist and then act like an artist. Think like a scientist in the sense that you want to be objective about what you're doing. Really test yourself. Are you actually doing the right types of campaigns? Are you creating great marketing? Is your content really that valuable? Is the ROI there? But then, when you do this objective exercise, you need to do something such as acting like an artist, doing things that might not work, and essentially creating art. So I'll leave you with that. Please connect with me online. I would love to hear from you all. I'm very active on these platforms. You can follow my Facebook page, link up with me on LinkedIn, tweet at me on Twitter. And again, most importantly, I really encourage you all to follow Kurated Medical. We have some fantastic content. We have a great culture. And more importantly, you'll see a lot of these approaches in various forms on there. I would say definitely follow our LinkedIn page. You'll see a lot of great strategies there. Well, that's it for now. I recommend you go through this with your team. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.